Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into the world of digital marketing today, and specifically, we'll be breaking down your source material, Principles of Digital Marketing.pdf.
A great choice, by the way. It's packed with insights.
Absolutely. But rather than go line by line, we're going to pull out the really juicy bits, the stuff that's making waves for businesses right now. The strategies that are actually working in today's world.
Exactly. We're all about cutting through the noise and getting to the good stuff.
Think of it like this. You've got this treasure map, this PDF, and we're going on an adventure to find the buried treasure, the marketing gold, so to speak.
I like that, an adventure. And just like any good adventure, it's about the journey as much as the destination.
It's funny. When you think digital marketing, it feels like it's always been there, right? But then you stumble across a fact like, did you know the first documented digital marketing thing was back in the 90s?
It's true. And that wasn't that long ago when you really think about it. We went from those early websites, the ones with the flashing text and the awful MIDI music,
Oh, don't remind me.
to this incredibly dynamic landscape where businesses can actually have a conversation with you, like you specifically. And not only that, but they can measure how that conversation is going.
See, that's the part that blows my mind.
Yeah.
That we're not just throwing things out there into the void anymore. We can actually see what sticks.
Data changes everything. It's like going from shooting in the dark to having a high-powered spotlight. You can see exactly where to focus your efforts for maximum impact.
Okay, so let's talk about getting seen in this digital world. Our PDS dives into SEO error.
Search engine optimization.
Right. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you make sure your website doesn't end up buried under a million other websites?
It's all about visibility. Imagine searching for something you need online.
Which I do, like 100 times a day.
Exactly. Now think about those top results that pop up. Those websites are the ones winning at SEO. They're the ones appearing in front of the right people at the right time.
So how do we get in on that action? What are the big levers we can pull?
Well, it's a combination of things. You've got keyword research, which is figuring out what your target audience is actually typing into that search bar.
Right, so we're speaking their language, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. Then there's on-page optimization, making sure your website is structured in a way that search engines understand and can easily read. Think of it like creating clear road signs for those search engine bots.
Gotcha. And then what about those backlinks everyone's always talking about?
Backlinks are like votes of confidence from other websites. When a reputable site links to yours, it tells search engines that your content is valuable and trustworthy.
So it's all about building that street cred, that online reputation.
Exactly. And here's the thing, it's not just about pleasing the search engines, it's about creating a fantastic experience for the humans who land on your site.
You mean like once they actually click on our link?
Exactly. Think of it this way, what makes you stick around on a website?
Well, for me, it's got to load fast.
That's a big one, especially on mobile.
Oh, tell me about it. Nothing worse than waiting for an eternity for a website to load on your phone.
Right, and the content needs to be engaging, easy to read, visually appealing.
And relevant to what I was searching for in the first place.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's just a bounce, a quick click back to the search results. And every bounce tells those search engines that your site isn't as relevant as it could be.
So user experience is a huge part of SEO, too. Makes sense.
Absolutely. A well-optimized website is like a well-oiled machine. Everything works together seamlessly to deliver a fantastic experience for both users and search engines.
And speaking of those users glued to their phones, our PDF specifically calls out mobile optimization. Is that really as big a deal as they make it sound?
It's not just a big deal, it's essential. I mean, think about how much time you spend on your phone browsing the web.
I'd rather not admit it out loud, but yeah, point taken.
We're living in a mobile-first world, which means if your website isn't optimized for those smaller screens, you're basically slamming the door in the face of a huge chunk of your potential audience.
It's like trying to squeeze into your favorite pair of jeans from high school. It's just not going to be a good experience for anyone involved.
Ouch. That's a rough visual. But you're right, it's about creating a seamless and enjoyable experience no matter what device your audience is using.
Makes total sense. Now, while we're on the topic of SEO, I'm curious, how long does it take to see results? I mean, is this something that happens overnight or...
That's the million-dollar question, right? And unfortunately, there's no easy answer. SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time to build that authority, to earn those backlinks, to climb those search engine rankings.
So patience is a virtue in the SEO game.
Absolutely. But there are ways to accelerate the process, and that's where PPC comes in.
Okay, let's talk about that PPC. What is it, and how does it fit into this whole digital marketing puzzle? Okay, so we've got our SEO foundation. We're working on that. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But what about PPC? That's the one where you pay for clicks, right?
That's right, pay-per-click. It's like the express lane of digital marketing. You pay for the privilege of getting in front of your audience faster.
So instead of waiting for them to find us organically, we're putting ourselves right there in their path.
Exactly. It's like renting prime real estate in a bustling city center versus setting up shop in a quiet suburb.
I get it. So with PPC, you're essentially buying visibility. But our PDF mentions something about keywords here too.
Yes, absolutely. Keywords are still crucial with PPC. You're essentially bidding on those words and phrases that your ideal customer is typing into Google or other search engines.
So it's like an option for eyeballs.
In a way, yes. And just like any auction, you need to know the value of what you're bidding on. What are those keywords worth to you? How much are you willing to pay for each click?
And I guess that's where things can get tricky, right? Because if you're not careful, you could end up spending a fortune for clicks that don't actually convert into customers.
You hit the nail on the head. That's why PPC isn't just a set it and forget it kind of thing. It requires constant monitoring, analysis, and optimization. You need to keep a close eye on your campaigns, see what's working, what's not, and adjust your bids accordingly.
So it's a bit more hands-on than SEO, but with potentially quicker results.
You could say that. PPC can deliver almost instant gratification, driving targeted traffic to your website from day one. But it's important to remember that it's not a magic bullet. It needs to be part of a well-rounded digital marketing strategy.
Right, so it works in tandem with SEO, content marketing, all the things we've been discussing.
Yeah.
And speaking of content, our PDF makes a big deal out of social media marketing.
And for good reason. Social media is like the virtual town square where everyone hangs out these days. It's where conversations are happening, connections are being made, and brands have an incredible opportunity to join the party.
Okay, I'll bite. How do we make sure our brand isn't the awkward one just standing in the corner at this party? How do we actually engage with people in a way that feels authentic and not, salesy?
That's the key. It's about being a part of the conversation, not just shouting from the sidelines. It's about listening to your audience, understanding their needs and interests, and providing value.
So it's less about broadcasting and more about building relationships.
Precisely. And that takes time and effort. Just like in real life, strong relationships aren't built overnight. They require consistent effort, genuine interaction, and a willingness to listen as much as you speak.
It makes you realize social media marketing is more than just posting a cute picture with a catchy caption. It's about crafting a whole personality for your brand online.
Absolutely. And that personality should reflect your brand values, your mission, and what makes you unique. People connect with brands that they can relate to, brands that share their values, brands that feel human.
So how do we find our brand's voice in this crowded online space? It feels like everyone's vying for attention.
It's about being authentic to who you are. Don't try to be someone you're not or chase after every fleeting trend. Focus on what makes your brand special and let that shine through in everything you do on social media.
So find your niche, find your people, and be yourself. I can dig it. But all this talk of engagement and conversation, it brings us back to content, right? Because what are we actually saying to these people? What are we sharing that will keep them interested in coming back for more?
You're right. Content is king. It's the fuel that powers your social media engine. It's what sparks those conversations, builds those relationships, and ultimately drives those conversions.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this content is king philosophy.
Yeah. Think of it this way. People are bombarded with messages all day long. To cut through that noise, your content needs to be exceptional. It needs to be informative, engaging, entertaining, or even better, all of the above.
So it's not just about posting for the sake of posting.
Exactly. Every piece of content you share should have a purpose, a goal. Are you trying to educate your audience about a particular topic? Are you showcasing a new product or service? Are you simply trying to entertain and build a stronger connection?
Right, because no one wants to be bombarded with sales pitches all the time.
Exactly. The best content provides value to your audience. It gives them something to think about, something to laugh about, something to share with their friends.
It's about creating a community around your brand, a tribe of loyal followers who trust your expertise and value your perspective.
You got it. And that kind of trust is invaluable in today's digital landscape. It's what sets you apart from the competition and turns casual scrollers into lifelong customers.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, and I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. The SEO, the PPC, the social media, the content. It's like building a digital marketing machine, one carefully chosen component at a time.
I love that analogy. And just like any good machine, it needs all its parts working in harmony to function at its best.
So what's next? What other essential parts do we need to add to this marketing machine of ours?
Well, there's one more channel we haven't talked about yet, and it's one that often gets overlooked in this age of social media and instant gratification.
Okay, you've got me curious. What is this often overlooked but oh so essential channel?
It might surprise you, but we're going back to basics email marketing.
Email. Really? I
Yeah.
thought that was so 1999.
I know, right? It sounds almost archaic in today's fast-paced world, but trust me, email is far from dead. In fact, it can be one of the most powerful tools in your digital marketing arsenal.
Okay, I'm listening. Convince me why email still matters.
Think about it. What's the one communication channel that's still considered personal, direct, and intentional?
You've got a point. Even with all the social media and instant messaging, there's still something special about receiving a well-crafted email.
Exactly. It feels more personal, more deliberate. And when done right, email marketing allows you to build deep, lasting relationships with your audience.
So it's not about blasting out generic promotions to a massive list.
Definitely not. That's the old way of doing things, and it just doesn't work anymore. Today's email marketing is all about personalization, segmentation, and providing value.
So it's about treating your email subscribers like the VIPs they are, offering them exclusive content, special offers, and insights they won't find anywhere else.
Precisely. It's about nurturing those relationships, building trust, and positioning yourself as a valuable resource in their inbox.
Okay, I'm starting to see the light. But with so much clutter in our inboxes these days, how do we make our emails stand out and avoid that dreaded spam folder?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it all boils down to a few key things.
Yeah.
Compelling subject lines, valuable content, clear calls to action, and of course, mobile optimization. Because let's face it, most of us are checking our emails on our phones these days.
Right, you got to make sure those emails look as good on a small screen as they do on a desktop.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of a well-designed email template. Think of it like dressing up your message in its Sunday best. It makes a difference.
Okay, I'm convinced. Email marketing is back on my radar. But we've covered so much today, and I feel like there's still so much more to explore in the world of digital marketing.
You're right, we've just scratched the surface, but the good news is this is just the beginning of our journey. We've got plenty more deep dives to come, and I can't wait to explore all the exciting possibilities of digital marketing with you.
So what was this other channel we needed to discuss, the one that often gets overlooked?
Yes, this one definitely deserves its time in the spotlight. It's influencer marketing, and it's becoming increasingly crucial in today's digital space, wouldn't you say?
Influencer marketing, right. To be honest, I'm a little fuzzy on how that one works. Is it just about finding someone with a ton of followers and sending them free stuff?
Well, it's a little more nuanced than that. Think about it this way. Have you ever tried a product because a friend recommended it?
All the time. I trust my friends' recommendations way more than some random ad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Influencer marketing taps into that same principle, but on a much larger scale. Instead of your friend, it's someone with a dedicated online following an influencer vouching for your product or service.
So you're basically leveraging the trust that they've built with their audience. Kind of brilliant when you think about it.
Exactly. It's about tapping into those pre-existing relationships and borrowing a little bit of that trust to introduce your brand to a whole new audience.
But with so many influencers out there, how do you even know where to begin? Is it just about finding someone with a massive following?
That's a common misconception. A huge following doesn't automatically equal a successful campaign. It's much more important to find influencers who align with your brand, who resonate with your target audience, and who genuinely believe in what you're selling.
So quality over quantity.
Always. A smaller, highly engaged audience that trusts an influencer's recommendations can be far more valuable than a massive, disengaged following that's just there for the pretty pictures.
That makes sense. It's all about finding those micro-influencers who have a dedicated tribe that trusts their judgment. It goes back to that authenticity we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. People can spot a fake from a mile away, especially online. The best influencer campaigns are those where the partnership feels genuine, where the influencer truly loves the product, and their enthusiasm shines through.
It's like that friend who's always recommending amazing books or restaurants you trust their taste because you know they wouldn't steer you wrong.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that kind of trust is invaluable in the digital marketing world. It can make all the difference in whether someone decides to try your product or not.
So to wrap things up, we've got SEO for long-term organic growth. We've got PPC for those quick wins and targeted visibility. We've got social media for building those relationships and fostering a sense of community.
don't forget content marketing. That's the fuel for all your digital channels. And of course, we can't forget the power of email marketing to nurture those leads and build those lasting relationships.
It's amazing how all these pieces fit together, like a well-oiled digital marketing machine. But like any machine, it needs all its parts to function properly.
Absolutely. And just like a machine, it needs regular maintenance, updates, and a little bit of TLC to keep running smoothly. But the rewards are well worth the effort.
You said it. Well, that was a whirlwind tour of the digital marketing landscape, but I feel like we covered a lot of ground today.
We did, and we've only just scratched the surface. The world of digital marketing is vast and constantly evolving, which makes it both exciting and a bit daunting at times.
Absolutely. But with the right tools, resources, and mindset, anyone can master this ever-changing landscape. So as we wrap up our deep dive today, I'd like to leave our listeners with a little challenge. Take one thing you learned today, just one, and put it into practice.
I love that. Whether it's optimizing your website for mobile, experimenting with a new social media platform, or crafting a killer email campaign, take that first step and see where it leads you.
You never know. It might just revolutionize your entire approach to digital marketing. That's a wrap on today's deep dive. Until next time, happy marketing, everyone.